In the Middle East, the threshold for direct American military action is defined by a series of red lines. One of those lines was crossed in Jordan when an attack claimed the lives of 2 U.S. service members. This satellite view shows the fortified military installation where the attack occurred. A fatal breach here exploited gaps in the base's security and force protection protocols, allowing the strike to penetrate U.S. defenses. The death of service members forces a response. To leave such an event unanswered signals a global weakness that the U.S. cannot afford to project. The administration immediately adopted a harsh doctrine of disproportionate response, a philosophy where a slap is met with a devastating punch. What followed was a massive retaliation, a bombing campaign that hit targets for 8 consecutive nights. While there is an immediate tactical logic to this response, it creates a difficult analytical problem. Once the smoke clears, the question remains, what happens next? A massive military reaction proves American capability, but without a clear, cohesive endgame, it remains an endless cycle of retaliation rather than a foundation for long-term deterrence. CENTCOM is currently coordinating the execution of this operational response across the entire Middle Eastern theater. The mission focuses on the systematic degradation of Iran's regional power projection capabilities through targeted strikes. Part of this degradation involves Iranian naval assets, like this frigate and the associated speedboats, which pose a direct threat to stability in the region. This was followed by strikes aimed at the command structure itself, seeking to remove half of the Iranian operational leadership. These strikes are designed to secure global shipping lanes, specifically the Strait of Hormuz, by neutralizing the forces capable of disrupting them. U.S. Navy assets, including destroyers and littoral combat ships, are currently in place to maintain absolute sea control in these waters. On a tactical level, the military is neutralizing key adversarial assets and completing the punishment phase of the operation. Successful strikes require force posturing, the ability to anticipate an adversary's next move and block it before it manifests. This requires the military to simultaneously conduct offensive strikes while shifting troops to fortify defensive positions against potential counterattacks. In this geopolitical chess game, a strategic perimeter of U.S. bases and naval groups surrounds the Iranian border and the Strait of Hormuz. By eliminating command nodes and degrading leadership, the U.S. physically restricts the adversary's ability to coordinate a high-impact response. With their infrastructure weakened and command structure broken, the adversary is left to weigh their remaining strike options against the prospect of even greater retaliation. Effective force posturing limits the enemy's moves on the board, ensuring that American tactical dominance is maintained through both offense and defense. As the weekend strikes conclude, the focus shifts from the kinetic actions of the military to the long-term reality of public policy. We are entering a strategic vacuum. Degrading ships and leadership is an effective military task, but it is not a complete foreign policy. Without a defined endgame, the region risks falling into an aimless cycle of escalation, where each strike triggers a chaotic chain reaction. There is a clear distinction between the military task of breaking an enemy's power and the political task of building a lasting peace. The American public expects clarity. The president must now articulate the ultimate intent of these strikes, to define what success looks like beyond the initial retaliation. A successful tactical strike is a beginning, not a conclusion. The administration has shown it will exact a heavy price for American lives. Now it must demonstrate a vision for turning that force into regional stability.